if you're an SNL fan, then you know Rachel Dratch and her infamous Debbie Downer. Well, now she's taking her hilarious comedic timing to the animated series Grimsburg, and earlier we spoke with her. Check it out.
Who's Roy?
Roy of Siegfried and Roy. He was attacked by his own tiger and suffered devastating injuries.
We love her. Please welcome to the show, Rachel Dratch.
Hi. Hello. All right, we're going to get to your show, but first, I have to ask you about your new podcast, WooWoo. You talk about all things ghosts and supernatural, and I hear Amy Poehler and Tina Fey might have been the inspiration for WooWoo. Tell me all about it.
Over the years, I've just heard some crazy ghost stories and psychic experiences and stuff like that from my friends. And, you know, everyone kind of has a ghost story, you sort of discover. So then I was like, oh, this would make a fun podcast. So it's talking about all that kind of stuff, you know, the world of woo-woo. And so, yeah, Amy Poehler, she's kind of a non-believer, but she talks about the Enneagram, which is this personality test. And Tina has a ghost story that took place in Cape May, New Jersey, which is very close to like a lot of people there have the Philly accent. So she tells hers in kind of a Philly accent.
Well, it seems like, you know, you have people on that are non-believers and some people that are. So I have to ask you, are you a believer? Have you seen a psychic? If you have, did the prediction come true?
Okay, so pretty much every episode I end up saying, like, okay, I'm not fully into this, but here's a story, like, see what you think of this. So I'm not full like crystals and, you know, consulting a psychic every week, but some of these stories are pretty compelling. I did have a psychic story where a psychic did tell, and I talked about this on the first episode actually, a psychic did tell me when I was 43 that I was going to have a child, and I wasn't even dating him, and I was like, what? And then she said, you're going to meet someone in 3 to 6 months and have a child. And then that's exactly what happened.
What?
So that kind of really turned my whole, you know, skepticism on its ear, I'll say, yeah.
I want the name of that psychic.
I know, it's pretty crazy, yeah.
So, Rachel, I gotta ask you this because I spent so many hours laughing at Debbie Downer. I mean, especially the one with Jimmy Fallon and Lindsay Lohan. Oh my God, I can watch that 100 times a day.
Me too.
It's one of the most iconic SNL characters. Do you ever find yourself being her in real life? What brings her out?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I think I have an inner Debbie Downer, and I always have, but I know to edit her. Like, I know when you're not, you know, when you're sitting at a party and someone says, like, oh, it's so warm out in December, then I don't go, like, that's because of climate change. Like, so I put the you know, an editing button, but Debbie Downer does not. And so a lot of people come up to me, and that's probably the character I'm most known for, because so everyone knows a Debbie Downer, which people tell me on the street, like, that's my sister, that's my boss, whatever. So definitely tapped into something there, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know anybody like that.
I'm not like
All right,
that.
no, I have to ask you. I'm just kidding. What would Debbie say about 2024?
I don't know what Debbie would say about 2024, because it's such a giant topic that I would need to zero in on something. But anyway.
I would kind of go like, you know, we have 2 great candidates.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. A lot of youthful energy to choose between.
There you go.
It's that eyebrow. It's that eyebrow. Excellent.
I had to go there.
Let's talk about your show, Grimmsburg, because you play a young boy. Do you use any real life experiences from your own son in the show?
I don't say no. So this kid, so I play John Hamm's son on Grimmsburg, and this kid is very different from my son. But so John Hamm is kind of this deadbeat dad sort of guy, and so my character Stan is just always hoping and trying to get his attention and trying to kind of win him over in this way that's kind of sad and I guess kind of funny for the viewers. But anyway, so no, I don't think he's that similar to my son. But I think, you know, when you the thing I love about doing voiceover is, like, you know, who you are in real life has no bearing because you can be anything in voiceover. So you just kind of try to channel this dude, this little dude. And so, you know, he kind of talks like he's sort of, you know, someone that's a bit of an outcast, and, you know, he feels kind of a low self-esteem. And so you try to just like think, what would that person sound like? So I wasn't thinking of like, what's the real child behind this? You know? Right. It's a little more goofy. That's my approach. I'm not very, you know, method acty, I guess. So,
No, it's cool.
I think it's so cool to have Don Draper as your dad.
Yeah.
Bossing
I know,
you around. What is it like?
Yeah. Well, you know what's another funny thing about voiceovers? You're not in the voiceover booth with the other characters. So you're just doing your thing. I mean, these are things, I didn't know this before I started doing animated, but you're in your own little voiceover booth and he might be in LA or something. You just do your own session. But I know him just from, the comedy scene, and he's very cool and nice and exactly what you might think. Yeah.
You'd want.
I know. I love it. I love it. DBL Nation, for new episodes of Grimmsburg, tune into Fox every Sunday. Thank you again, Rachel.